Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of ACC Basics. Today I wanted to go over the differences between GT3 cars, GT4 cars and how you drive them differently. Let's start out with the obvious. The GT3 cars have way more power, they have more aerodynamics, they're lower to the ground and produce a good deal of downforce. The GT4 cars, they have less power, they have little to no additional aero besides the bodywork, their ride height is higher and they produce a smaller amount of downforce. What does this mean when you jump into the cars? What are the things you need to keep in mind as a driver and what do you need to change in your driving style to get the optimum result? These are all the questions we're going to be answering. Remember that I'm just a guy on the internet and these tips come from my experience, so let me know if you disagree with anything I say in this video. Let's start with the beautifully bulky battle machines, aka the GT3 cars. These automobiles are pretty advanced, like Gundams. They go rather fast and also get upset really quickly. They're a teeny bit sensitive. In my experience, you have the most success with the GT3 cars when you follow the racing line strictly and as precisely as possible, avoiding all the curbs whenever you can. These cars really work well when the driver is what I like to call a smooth operator. With this, I mean that you're being smooth with your steering inputs as well as the gas pedal and the braking inputs. The GT3 cars will go really fast if you find a good balance between being delicate with them and pushing the car. Jerky steering motions can easily result in a slide or even a spin, and the same goes for harsh pedal inputs. The slides in GT3 cars are also pretty hard to catch at higher speed, so try to be a smooth mover. If you get on the power too fast, you also have a good chance of spitting out the GT3 cars. Another important thing to keep in mind with the GT3 cars is that their ride height is rather low. This means that you gotta be careful with the bumps, the curbs and all the other nasty stuff out on track. You can imagine that hitting a bump that's higher than the bottom of your car will kinda launch you into the air if you're driving at a speed of over 200 kilometers per hour. So I suggest that you watch out for the bumps. To put this all into a short little nutshell, be smooth with the GT3 cars, be smooth with your steering inputs, the pedal inputs, try to follow the racing line to the best of your ability, avoid the big bumps, the rest will come with time, experience and practice. And then we're moving on to the bright bodacious beef mobiles that you might know as the GT4 cars. Although a lot of basics carry over from the GT3 cars to the GT4 cars, some things are definitely different when it comes to getting good results in these old beautiful things. First of all, following the racing line, being smooth with your inputs and avoiding the curbs will still probably make you the fastest driver on track. But in the GT4 cars you have a lot more wiggle room or space to play with these rules. Curbs don't affect you as much because your ride height is generally higher, which means you can take a little bit of a different racing line sometimes. Depending on how you steer into the curbs you want to jump over, you might have a lot of success and win some time. This also means that closer racing is permitted more. You can enter chicanes side by side and jump over the curb with little to no trouble and continue your epic gamer battle. When I gotta choose between braking and hitting the curb, flying a little bit, I drive that thing straight into the curb, baby! Also, being jerky with your steering is punished way less in GT4 cars. You might get into a slide after avoiding a collision, but these slides aren't too hard to recover from generally. So you can really pull off some cool moves in the heat of the moment. And sometimes a little jerking is needed to get the car moving, because the GT4 cars, they have less downforce, so they're harder to steer at higher speeds. So sometimes you need to use the brakes a little bit to get the steering moving. And in my opinion, it's a fun new skill to learn. Now the last piece of wisdom I wanted to share with you guys is that the GT4 cars are a little slower than the GT3 cars. They have less power to speed up after the braking zones, and this makes conserving speed much more important when you're driving the GT4s. What I mean by this is that you should try to keep as much momentum as possible while still making the corners, of course. Because any speed lost in the corner will be speed lost in the section after it. So try to keep things rolling and you'll be golden. To put the GT4 ways into a nutshell as well, try to drive them precisely. Follow the racing line to the best of your ability. But don't be afraid to hit the curbs or the bumps. And upsetting the car is not always such a big deal. So see where the limit of your car is and try to work with it. Try to really work on your pedal technique to get the car turning, but don't overdo it. We all want to be the drift king, but it's not the fastest way around the circuit. And that's kind of everything I have to share with you guys today. I hope you liked the video. Let me know in the comments if I'm totally wrong about things and I should be very ashamed of myself. Subscribe for more sim racing content, and as always, I hope you have a great day, a wonderful dream tonight, and sleep tight, my beautiful baby girls and my beautiful baby boys. I love you. Mwah.